What do you think is the best solution for getting teenagers to protect themselves and their sexual health? Would regular STD screenings remind girls and boys to be safer when it comes to sex? We want to know what you think about that in this next half hour. Lynn Doyle's off tonight. Hi, I'm Kevin Walsh. Thanks for rejoining us. Tonight we are getting your reaction to the CDC study released that cited 1 in 4 American teenage girls has at least one STD. Some more than that. Troubling numbers for sure for teenagers and parents alike. Who do you blame for these statistics? Let's check in with tonight's web poll brought to you by Nicolak. Tonight we're asking reasons for the high STD rate among teenage girls. 22% say lack of education, 44% say irresponsible behavior, 34% say both. It is not scientific, but it is interesting. Let's take another call. Lacey Ann in New Britain, Connecticut is on the line. Hi, Lacey Ann.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Your comments?
I am calling, my comment basically is that I'm a female. I'm 26 years old. Obviously, I'm a female. I'm 26 years old, and I do not have kids, but I see a large trend with broken homes nowadays. And I think a lot of females need that feeling of closeness, young girls who maybe aren't getting that at home. And any way you can really get it is the way that they're going about it. And I mean, you really can't blame parents or whatever it is wholeheartedly for that, because I'm sure, you know, they have their reasons for not being together and whatnot, but I think girls just really need that closeness and that love in general, and I think girls, like I said, will just go about it any way they can get that from a guy. So, thanks
for calling, Lacey Ann. Dr. Rob, do you think that's a common denominator with girls that have STDs? Maybe there are social issues.
I think
something's not home, something's not right at home, and they try and fill it up.
Self-esteem, maybe no parental guidance, a lot of broken homes, access to health care, judgmental parent if they had, pressure. You know, a lot of times, first of all, if they have self-esteem, they'll know it's okay to say no. They'll know there are options. Also, you know, it's a good time to talk to them about, you know, I'm a believer in Planned Parenthood. A lot of times people may not go there. They're afraid to go to the doc because the parent will know. So the main thing is education, self-esteem, letting them know the consequences. If they don't have a parent and they are feeling sad, if they have self-esteem, they won't go to this guy who won't respect them, who will just leave them if they get pregnant or if they get a sexually transmitted disease. They'll know how to make smarter decisions and that they can get that company from other people who do care about them. So a lot has to do with social issues.
Dr. Marsh, who's a part of your program? Would you say it's people that come from good families where everything's all together, or is it a mixture of that and some that come from a challenged background?
Actually, we have a combination, and I think that's the wonderful thing about Worth the Wait. We have a diversity of people, of racial backgrounds, but also as far as their families. People come from single-parent families. People come from two-parent households. Perhaps there are even some people on my team whose parents have been incarcerated all their lives. And I think the wonderful thing is that because we have that diversity, we're able to really demonstrate that abstinence and a sexually pure life is possible regardless of what your family situation has been, as well as I have people on my team that are abstinent now after having perhaps a child or two out of wedlock or have been a part of being promiscuous in the past but have now made that healthy decision to be abstinent now. So I think it doesn't matter what family you come from, although I know that there are challenges in that, right? Abstinence is still possible.
Okay, you brought up something, I was going to ask you about it later, but I'm going to go there now because you brought it up. You're talking about people that technically are not virgins.
Right.
What percentage of the people that are in your group are not technically virgins?
I would say actually, as of right now, about 75% of the team are virgins, and that's combined men and women. Worth the Wait Revolution is composed of young men and young women, and as I said before, preteens all the way up to adult singles right now, and 75% of those people are virgins. Some of them have now been abstinent for, God knows, 6, 7, 8, 9 years now. Some of them have had kids out of wedlock but are now abstinent. So it's a combined program to demonstrate that once you have perhaps had sex, it's not over for you. I mean, of course, you can recommit and, be restored in that. We're not a judgmental group, and we welcome people from all backgrounds as well. So,
Dr. Bradley, you wanted to say something just a moment ago.
In addition to what Dr. Rob was saying about kids with poor self-esteem, we also have a big bunch of kids who have good self-esteem, girls who are high achievers, who are on the soccer teams and student council and so forth, and a lot of those girls are now seeing having casual sex as another form of achievement because of the way the culture has pounded these kids, saying this is something successful females do, and they're copying this. So those parents out there that have kids that are high achievers, do not lull yourselves to sleep thinking she's okay. You have to have these conversations with all of these kids.
It can happen to everybody. The diversity issue, the racial issue. Black teenage girls are twice as likely to have an STD than a white teenage girl or a Hispanic girl. Do you want to put your finger on why that is, Dr. Brown?
Well, part of it, one, education, access to screening, access to health care. You know, it might be a lot of other dynamics, but I can tell you 50% of the STDs in the teenage group is in the African American population. And a lot of times, I think access to health care is really big, and also education and pressure, and being in situations where maybe they can't say no, and self-esteem. So I believe in the abstinence for sure if we can get the message, but also in the programs that do offer protection for them and talk to them, give them education, give them self-esteem, give them protection, give them access to health care. I think that would help tremendously. A lot of times they may have something, they don't know the signs and symptoms. Some people are called super spreaders. They might give it to one person, then another. They just don't know the consequences. We have to educate them.
And that's usually boys that are doing that because it's harder to find the symptoms in that. Did you have a comment,
Yeah,
Dr.
another
Kaufman?
factor that influences the acquisition of a sexually transmitted disease is the age at which a woman becomes sexually active. The younger she becomes sexually active, the more partners she's likely to have in a short period of time. So if she starts having intercourse at age 13 or 14, by the time she reaches 15, 16, or 17, she may have had anywhere from 4 to 6 partners.
Dr. Bradley?
And anywhere from 30 to 40% of America's females are sexually molested, coerced into having unwanted sexual activity prior to graduating high school. So a lot of these kids are intimidated, forced, sometimes raped into having unprotected sex. It's a whole nother part of this iceberg that's below this number that everybody's astounded with. Let's look at this iceberg and talk about all of these issues.
Dr. Rob, let me bring up an old issue, Gardasil, which is one of the vaccinations against HPV. This has been around for, what, a year or two?
Probably about 2 years now. Is that close to 2 years?
Yeah.
But really the controversy is how early to start providing it to some people.
Yes,
some
it's
doctors
recommended.
are talking as young as 9.
Yeah, age 9 to age 26. We often give it around 11, 12. But the main thing is try to get it to women, girls, before they become sexually active. You know, if I told you, Kevin, I can prevent 70% of cervical cancer in your girls, you know, prevent it from happening. And wouldn't that be wonderful? Or 90% of the genital warts. So this is a vaccine that works very well, has been proven to be very safe. So to me, it's not a controversy. The big thing is, what about the boys? Because the boys carry HPV too. So we have to figure out some way. They're doing studies on the vaccine now to see if it is effective in boys too.
Okay. Pat's on the line. Hi, Pat.
Hello.
Where are you calling from, Pat?
I'm calling from Monroe Township, New Jersey.
Do you have a question or a comment tonight?
Well, I have a comment.
Okay, let's hear it.
Maybe society, the schools and everybody should sort of frown on this single dating thing. You know, try to keep the kids in groups and not pairing off everybody. Everybody seems to think that, and I know parents too used to think how cute it was that their 12-year-old was going to the movies with a guy, you know, and it kind of grows, and when they're 13 and 14, they're dating, and by the time they are 16, well, there's nothing else to do